अस्माकं सिलेबस् विषये कुत्र पर्यन्तम् आगताः इदानीं
चतुर्थः विषयः अस्ति वेदासयज्ञः तत्तु प्रारब्धम् इदानीं गतमध्ये यज्ञविषये मया उक्तम् अद्य किञ्चित् टेक्नालजि यज्ञास् इति केवलम् एतदनुसारेण गच्छन् अस्मि तत्र ऐटम् नम्बर् 4 इदानीं वेदासन् यज्ञास् इति गतकक्षायां कृतं मया
एवम् अस्तु
इदानीं तत्रैव यज्ञस्यैव किञ्चित् अग्रे विचारयामः सैन्स् एण्ड् टेक्नालजि आफ् यज्ञः क्लासिफिकेशन् आफ् यज्ञः तत्तु अद्य पश्यामः इति अनन्तरं वेदाङ्गः इति भवन्ति वेदाङ्गानां विषये स्वीक्रियते अनन्तरं प्रत्येकस्य विषये
एवम् अस्तु महोदय 3.2 विषयं स्पृष्टं वा वेदास् एस् कंटेनर्स् आफ् नालेज् कान्ट्रास्ट् टु द व्यू एस् एक्स्पेल्स् फॉर रिचुअल्स् इति
तत्र मया स्थूलरूपेण यतः तत्र आदिसमाजस्य तथा अरविन्दो तद्विषये मया बहु दीर्घरूपेण अध्ययनं न कृतमस्ति यावत् अस्माभिः ज्ञातुं शक्यमस्ति तद् मया यावत् अवगतं दुःखं मया तत्र एवमपि विद्यते तत्र स्पेल्स् फार् रिचुवल्स् इति विषये तत्तु केवलं ज्ञानविषये उच्यते किन्तु मया वेदे तथा नास्ति वेदे यावदस्ति तत्तु मया गृहीतं संहितातः ब्राह्मणतः आरण्यकतः उपनिषत्तः न जाने एकवारम् अहं तद्विषये प्रायः नागराज महोदयेन साकं वार्तामपि कर्तुम् इच्छामि किमासीत् इति पुनः एकवारं तद्विषये विचारः करणीयः चेत् कुर्मः तथैव भवति इति नास्ति किञ्चित् यावत् स्थूलरूपेण तत्त्वम् अस्माभिः कवर् करणीयं तत् कृतमस्ति मया अस्मिन् सप्ताहे मम निवृत्तिरपि भविष्यति श्रीराक्तः किञ्चित् विचारयितुम् इच्छामि पश्यामि एकवारं नो चेत् एकवारम् आगन्तुमपि चिन्तयन् अस्मि पश्यामि यदि शक्यते एकवारं पुनः तत्रापि आगत्य भवद्भ्यः सर्वैः एकवारं मेलनं शक्यते वा इत्यपि चिन्तयन् अस्मि
अवश्यम्
सम्यक् उपयोगः स्यात् इत्येव भवतु अद्यतन रेकार्डिङ्ग् तु प्रारब्धुं शक्यते अद्यतन विषयम् इदानीं प्रारभ्य किञ्चित् वक्ष्यामि अग्रे क्लासिफिकेशन् आफ् यज्ञास् विषये तथा सैन्स् एण्ड् टेक्नालजि विषये किञ्चित् इदानीं प्रारभ्य वदामि भवन्तः भविष्यन्ति वा अद्य कथम्
आमामाम्
अत्र वेदा हि यज्ञार्थम् अभिप्रवृत्ताः आङ्ग्ले एव अनुवर्तनं करोमि वा सर्वैः संस्कृतं ज्ञायते वा
न महोदय आङ्ग्ले एव अनुवर्तनं कुर्वन्तु भवन्तः
समीचीनं इदानीं लास्ट् टैम् वी वर सीइङ्ग् यज्ञ एस् ए कान्सेप्ट् एस् मेन्शन्ड् इन् द वेदास् जनरली I said 3 points basically. One is about universality. Yajna is generally the word used when there is some great purpose or a universal purpose to be achieved through dedicated, committed efforts, and it should have been mentioned somewhere for certain achieving ends. So, Tattva is one of the, even in the Laukika usage, when people say it was almost like Ashwamedha kind of something which is very difficult to achieve, which had a lot of coordination involved. But it actually stems from the thought that, in fact, Purusha Sukta is one of the very good examples of how Yajna is at the conceptual level. Today I will also take up that, as in the science and technology, this has been mentioned clearly. Yajnana Yajnamayajantu Devaha, he has tried to mention. That we will see today, plus Tani Dharmani Prasamanyasam. நான் இப்போ ஒரு 4:30 மணி மட்டும் ஒரு கிளாஸில் இருக்கேன், ஆஃப்டர் இருக்கேன். நான் அப்புறம் கொஞ்சம் நேரம் ஆஃபீஸுக்கு போயிட்டு வரணும். நான் ஒரு 4:30க்கு அப்புறமா கால் பண்ணுறேன். நீங்கள் வரதா இருந்தால் அப்புறம் அதான் அதுக்கு தகுந்த மாதிரி வந்துக்கலாம். நான் ஆஃபீஸ் போட்டு வந்தால் கூட 6 நிமிஷத்தில் வந்துடுவேன். So the point is, yajnas are of different types, but yajna involves definitely these 3 components that Vedas contain the concept wherein something universal is achieved, something lasting is achieved, irrespective of course the beneficiary. It is not a selfish act. That is number one. Why we mention that it is useful to a large number of people or beneficiaries is that it is not a narrow, selfish, focus-based activity. It is based on something that is helpful across the board, number one. And Vedas do always mention things like I also told last time, japa can be a yajna, tapas can be a yajna, dravyas can be used in the very, very ordinary case. Is everybody able to listen to? Is any problem with the audio?
Now it is very clear, sir.
So, today I am taking 2 cases. One, of course, Purusukta I am going to come to. But before that, basically, to get a flavor of what all could be the components of a yajna. Okay, so, in this case I am taking, if the screen is visible to people, this is one mantra appearing in Taittiriya Upanishad. Okay, it's also called as Mahanarayana Upanishad. It's part of Taittiriya Aranyakam. Now, this talks about yajna to have certain, say around 20-30 typical components, okay, which means it has so much of detail, and things can be of course used for figuratively trying to say that this is applied to any activity that a person does. Now, this mantra of course begins like Tasya evam vidushaha yajnasya atma yajamanaha Shraddha Patni, Shariram Idhvam, Uraha Vedihi, Lomani Barhihi, Vedaha Shikha, Sadayam Yupaha, Kamaha Ajyam, Manyuho Pashuho, etc. Now, suppose this is put into 2 columns, let us say. There is a functional role and there is one candidate which fits into that. In this case, life itself is taken as a yajna. Vidushaha yajnasya means Vidwan is the person, that is a knowledgeable person, a seeker, a person wanting to do good to himself and to the community, everyone in general. Such a person, a knowledgeable or a learned person, treats his life itself as a yajna, as a activity which is to be done as a duty. But while doing it as a duty with all commitment, he is now trying to see that he gets the best results out of this. Of course, it says, when does it end? Yan maranam tad avabhrutaha. In that last line, we can see this. So, right from the time a person realizes that he has a duty to society. Oh, audio is broken, is it?
It is not broken. We can.
I'm sorry, no, I don't know. Okay. Yeah, if you are able to hear, this is fine. So, any time a person, that is basically.
Yes, sir, the audio is not clear.
Oh, so someone has got a problem with the audio. Oh, I see. What should be done to improve? I really do not know. Maybe I just try there is another. Another broadband connect. Yeah, let me just see if I have the additional connection on now. I will maybe change switch out on air conditioner. Just see if that is any better. So it is raining here. Just put out the air. Yeah, so anyway, let me just see. I will try say another a minute or so, and please come back saying is it better or is fine. I don't want to lose, the info to be probably communicated. Fine. So, the once this is done, a person is aware of the text. Okay, when he is learned from a guru, let's say in the Gurukulam, that is around age of 20, a person is fully packed with the information available in the text of the Vedas. Then he needs to see where does he find a use for this? How does he try to apply this? How does he try to benefit from this? So at that stage, he now is aware of the text, but then he needs to be applying it somewhere. He needs to use that for his and others' benefits. So in that sense, say now he becomes a householder, and if he gets married, has a family, then he needs to have ways of fulfilling his obligations to society, to family, etc., including his gurus. Actually, the three runas are mentioned in the Veda. We owe our own gratitude to three agencies, Rishis, Devatas, and Pitas. So, Tribhihi Rinava Jayate, Jayamana Brahmana Tribhihi Rinava Jayate, Brahmacharya Rishibhya, Yajnana Devebhya, Prajaya Pitribhya. This is what the Shruti has said. So out of the three rinas, the rinas towards Devatas, that is, we owe a lot of our existence and our abilities to divine powers. So to see that we pay back our gratitude, yajnas are the way. Okay? So yajnana devebhya. So the person who is cleared of all these three kind of owing, or let us say rinas. I don't know, it can't be called as loan per se. Rina in the common parlance may be called as loan, but here it is not a loan. You owe something to them for your existence, your abilities. And so, Deva Rina is cleared by doing yajnas, where of course the Devatas are pleased in this. Devatas are not really someone external and then you just try to see that to give off something physically. They are present within us. Our own Indriyas are called as Devas. Our own environment is also called as Devas, like the Panchabhutas, etc. We discussed about them earlier. Srishti involves a yajna wherein the necessary components are made available to everyone. So from that point of view, here it talks about life itself is a yajna. Now, this is a raw person with just textual knowledge, and he needs to see that he is able to use this in a day-to-day life. So there it says, you require Yajamana, that is the person who is the focus of this entire activity of yajna. In this case, the person, a learned person who is coming out of the Gurukulam, he is the focus, or he is the agent, he is the person who is executing this yajna. So Yajamana is required, and Yajamana is the Atma. Atma meaning self, the person who is now wishing to see that his knowledge is put to use. Then what he needs is, as a householder with his wife has to do the Vedic karmas, Vedic kriyas. So in this case it says Shraddha is the Patni, is in the place of Patni. In the place of wife we do have the interest, faith, belief, and of course the force to execute. Shraddha is not just a statement, it is active way of trying to apply somebody's faith. So Patni place is taken by Shraddha. Then in the yajna, suppose you do it physically, you will have a regular fire. A person will have Agnihotra, if he has to do, he will have actual fire in which he will put in the Samit, Darbha, etc. That is called the Idhma, that which actually kindles the fire. The Idhma is required, but in the place of Idhma, the Sharira itself can be also thought of. It is not that everyone has to only do Agnihotra to see that this qualifies as a yajna. That is called a Dravya yajna. Whereas we can also have Manasika yajna, we can have Japa yajna, we will have Tapo yajna, etc. So now this is a generic portion which says these many components are required. The executing person, Yajamana, is required. Patni is required. That is a partner who will have equal share in the result, but also equal responsibility in making that execution effective. Then of course you need the Idhma, that is some concept of Agni is needed which will receive whatever we put in. So now the Sharira is the one, that is you will have the physical and mental faculties will participate in any willing yajna that a person does as per the Vedic injunction. Then where the Agni is created, that place is called Vedi. Now, Vedi is one of the words which says there are three Agnis in the case of Yagas. There is one called Garhopatya Agni, one called Ahvani Agni, and the third one called Dakshina Agni. Between this Garhopatya and Ahvani Agni, there is a space. That space should be as much as the height of the person. So roughly it is about 6 feet. That is the way it is calculated. So Purusha Samhitaha Yajnaha is the statement the Shruti says. It can be physically taken that way. It can also be taken as the person has to put in his full might, and he should see that he should do it with full willingness and commitment. This is what it actually means. So to the best of a person's ability, one needs to work. So the Sharira becomes the Idhma that kindles. That is, still you are able to go even an extra mile if you can. Similarly, the place where this has to be created, this is Agni, it has to be created in a place with some physical dimensions and then a creation of Vedi. Whereas in that place, Uraha Vedihi, it is the person's heart itself or the chest portion in the body. That which holds the heart is the important part. Like that is, if your heart is willing, then you will be able to give your full commitment to the activity. Uraha Vedihi, Lomani Barihi. You don't need separately darbhas, etc. Like the darbha grass used in the physical yajna, the hairs on the body are equated or figuratively treated as equivalent to, that is, every avayava, every limb of the body participates is the meaning. Vedaha Shikha, that is, the person needs to have the Varnashrama dharmas to be followed. That is, he needs to do his daily duties, which also contribute. You do the job for others, but with the way that you are prepared with your own duties fulfilled. Let's say early morning you get up, do your snana, sandhya, etc. So those parts are referred to by Shikha. Physically a person can be seen, yes, this person is a Vaidika, then he belongs to some of the shakhas, and this shakha says this is the way he should do, etc. Its equivalent is that you are ready with a clean body and mind. Some preparatory activities, whatever is needed, that homework you have done. This is what it means. Hridayam Yupaha. So in the Hridaya, that is, Yupa is a flat staff kind of a thing. A pole to which, of course, if a Pashu is to be killed in a yajna, this has to be tied to that, and then, of course, after the Yupa is erected, this Pashu is brought in, its preparation are all made. So this what holds the offering. Basically, okay, Pashu can be an offering, of course, Ajya, that is, ghee can be an offering, milk can be an offering, then Darbha can be there, Samit can be there, etc. Various kinds of dravyas are mentioned in the physical yajna. Equivalent to that is the Hridaya here. Then Kama is Ajya, the desire is the ghee here. If you pour the ghee into the fire glows well, and it also grows. Similarly, the desire and willingness to see that you achieve the result, it is not done only once. That is the reason it actually treats it as everyday life itself is treated as a yajna. So, Vidusho yajnasya, when it said, Vidwan is yajna here, and of course this goes on till his death, that is what finally it said. So, every day, every time, there are 3 times in a day. It's also going to mention that morning, afternoon and evening. So even each one of these are treated as his own kind of dedication, or the 3 kinds of equipment that we bring in. One is deeds, thoughts and actions. So you think up, you speak up, and you also execute. So now these are the components that actually make up what gets described as a yajna. Kamaha Ajyam, Manyuhu Pashuhu. Externally, if you see, okay, a Pashu can be an animal like goat, can be brought in, it can be killed, and this is given, the various limbs of it are used as homa in the Agni. This pleases Devatas, and then you get Swarga. This is one kind of description that we have. It also means, in the case a person wants to elevate spiritually or he wants to be useful to society, then what you actually kill in the place of an animal there is, Pashu's place is taken by Manyu. Manyu means one, anger. Second, the weaknesses or the faults of a person. One needs to start introspection and trying to see that you improve, you work towards perfection, you try work towards being of use without blemishes. It won't happen overnight. That is the reason it says this should be the effort and this should be the kind of goal. Okay. So any yajna then has a goal wherein intermediate checking is done Am I on track? Do I need to improve? Do I need to change things, etc.? So, Manyuho Pashuho, Tapaha Agnihi. Instead of an external fire, this Tapa actually is Alochana, thinking, introspection. Okay, Tapa Alochana is one of the dhatus that we have in the Dhatu Pata. Tapa Dahe also is another dhatu, which means Agni Tapati, Surya Tapati, it is able to burn objects. Okay. Then Tapa Aishwarya, there are three dhatus having the form Tapa in the Panini Dhatu Pata. Aishwarya is like a tapasvi, has got a glow in him. He has achieved some level of perfection in his thoughts, words and deeds that it is visible to others. People are even able to see, oh, this person is quite tejasvi. This tejas comes out of the tapas accumulated over a long period. So tapa includes this kind of an intellectual concentrated activity, ever willing to improve or push the frontier that one has already achieved. So Agni is now figuratively here in this case talked of as the tapas. Tapas is the Agni. Shamayita, then Tapa Agni Shamayita, Dakshina Avak. So when some fee is given or some Dakshina is given to a person participating as a Ritvik in a yajna, each person is given some amount of certain objects or certain amount of money or gold, various kind of things are mentioned. In their place, that is the return for people out of what is this is walk in this case. So Agni Shamayita, Dakshina, Shamayita, Dakshina. So Dakshinas are in the place of Shamayita is the person, is called also Shamita in the case of Yajna. When a Pashu is to be offered to the Devata, a person who should know the different angas of the Pashu, take them out in certain sequences, and there are also reasons for different kinds of purposes, different sequence and things like that. So one who knows when to do what, sequence it well and trying to see, depending on the needs or for the beneficiaries, organize them well. So that part happens to be the Dakshina here. That is, you try to see, have I benefited? Let us say you are walking on the road and you find some handicapped person. You just take some time out of your busy thing and still see you are trying to help a blind person cross the road or things like that. Even these kind of acts are, when they are willingly done, that I have some ability, I am fortunate, someone else is less fortunate, let me be of some help. So this kind of thinking, this Shamayita's job is the equivalent of the Dakshina. It could be small things, part of it not necessarily fully planned, but this thinking should pervade everything around us. Then Vak Hota, the person who actually does this is a person who belongs to Rigveda is called as Hota in the case of Yajna. He will be calling out the Devatas. Ahvayati is the reason he is called as Hota. So Rigveda mantras are basically used to praise Devatas, invite them for the Yajna, and at different points when whoever has to come in, they have to be present physically, then you offer the offerings to them, ahutis to them, and they receive it. This is the concept. So the walk or the speech is the one which does this job. That is, we declare, we see that we do things which are in consonance with nature plus the teachings of the Vedas that one has learned. That means, you should be of use at every moment. But there is a saying in Manusmriti which says, Brahmanasya sharirantu na upabhogaya kalpate. What a person has to do is, for all other varnas and for the nature in general, with the help of the Vedic knowledge, one should be able to see that balance or a kind of stability is maintained. Dharma basically means stability or equilibrium. If there is something going wrong, a person should be able to find the ways of rectifying things, or better if possible, avoid something that may go bad. So there are two things that are, one is to anticipate, second to see that something that has been going around, we should be alive to things and rectify things. So the speech is for the different kinds of times and things. This is taking the place of the Hota, that is inviting Devatas and asking them to receive the offerings that we give them in the case of a Dravya Yajna. Pranaha Udgata. See, Udgata is the Ritvik who belongs to the Samveda, and he does the singing of the mainly the mantras from Rigveda, but this is to please the devatas after they have been invited and they are in front of us. Similarly, we now want to, let us say, take up a small job. Suppose someone who is well educated goes around to, let us say, a rural area and tries to see that people are given some basic knowledge about their day-to-day activities. In this case, now he is trying to see there is an imparting of basic life-related skills or knowledge from what he knows conceptually to see that this is applied properly or suited to a given situation. So then this should be pleasing. So in that sense, Jihva me madhumattama is another mantra in the same Upanishad. So the speech should be pleasing to people, helpful to people, both. It is not just that it is a sweet talk. It is basically it is beneficial talk. So you should also listen, karnabhyam bhuri vishruvam. Both are there. You listen to the needs and then respond appropriately. This then becomes the job of the prana. See, the person's life is dedicated to see that we, as much as possible, try to improve, make a delta X change in the lives of people around us. So life becomes a kind of yajna through this very step-by-step kind of, you say, chakshuhu adhvaryuhu. Adhvaryu is the person belonging to Yajurveda. So this is the place of the eyes in the body. You are able to see things, and then based on what you see, you plan the rest of your activities and coordinate the other limbs. So now if you see here, Hota, Udgata, Adhuryu belong to the Rigveda, Samveda and Yajurveda. Then of course Mano Brahma, the fourth one, Brahma belongs to the Atharva Veda in the Yajna. You can see all the Vedas are participating into a very simple activity, any simple activity in life, if we understand the purpose. So Brahma is the person who does two things. In fact, here in the syllabus portion, of course, he has mentioned these two classification of yajnas, in that you have B, Shantika and Paustika. This comes from the Atharva Veda. Shantika is with all good intentions and proper efforts, with lot of care. Someone does an activity, but then there could still be mistakes, errors, or unforeseen situations. Maybe there could be setbacks or problems. So in such a case, how to rectify? This rectificatory part is called Shantika Karma. Something has gone wrong, then how to see that we get it back on track. Okay. So this is the Shantika portion which is meant. For example, now most prayashchittas are under the Shantika category. That is, you are supposed to do things on time with proper things in sequence, etc. Some of them, let us say, Dravya Lopa, Kriya Lopa, Niyama Lopa, some Lopa can happen in this kind of. For example, the exact appointed time is missed, so there will be Kalatita, then there has to be some prayashchitta to see this is brought back. Similarly, some main Dravya is not available, some substitute is used. For example, in the Somayaga, Soma is a lata, it's basically a creeper, but it's hardly found nowadays. So if that is not found, then there are some substitutes mentioned. But then you still have to do some prayashchittam to say, I was supposed to get this, I could not, I have done with this, please forgive this kind of. So what happens is, this kind of Shantika basically is about, there is a gap between the ideal and the actual. There is something ideal, but what is actual, and between them, what is the difference, and then how to set it off, or how to see that, or minimize its ill effects. So Shantika is this. Then similarly, Paustika is the other thing. There are multiple options of doing the same activity for different purposes to be achieved. See, a person is interested in getting lot of cattle. Pasukama is one of the description for a person. The desire could be to have Pasu Samriddhi. Desire can also be to have Shatru Jaya. Desire can also be to be the head of one's own community. Sajatanam Rajasyam, Adhipatishyam. So each one can have, or to get, let's say, rains, could be one of the purposes for one kind of yajna. So similarly, depending on the results, you can modify things. You can change the offerings used. Dravya can be one of the variants. Devatas themselves, devatas with different gunas can be praised to get different kinds of accelerated or amplified results out of a common or a normal yajna. So, Pushti karma is like Medha Janana. You generally have, Vedas themselves give you good knowledge, good longevity, etc. But still, someone wants to be one up on the other. There is one yajna which is mentioned. You want to become like Brihaspati in speech, that you should be able to win over everyone in argument. Then, Vacha pravadita syamiti, vachi pravakta syam. If this is the intention of a person, then he has to do a satra which lasts 5 nights. So, etam pancharatrama pashyate. Based on this pancharatra satra that is being done, one becomes atho enam vachaspatirityahuhu. Then people praise him as he is as good as Brihaspati. So, in this case, the procedures, the objects used or the devatas pleased can vary. So this is to see over and above a normal which is for everyone, additional benefits can also be added. So they are called as Paustika karma. Of course, this is also done at different ages. Well, let us say a child, even for the Upanayana Samskara, depending on, he generally of course does Veda Jena, becomes a good citizen, but over and above that, if we want to have, see, Dashame Annadhi Kamam, Ekadashe Indriya Kamam, Dwadashe Pashu Kamam, etc. In the different ages, after the age of 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th years, etc. If a person is specific about this aspect of the development of the child, then let him choose this year, kind of. So, this kind of Paustika is a variable, optional additions that someone can do to the basic Prakriti Yajna that has been mentioned. So such a thing is the job of Brahma. A person who belongs to Asarva Veda, that contains the procedures and the mantras for Shanti Karma as well as Pushti Karma. So now if we see in this line, Vaghota, Prana Udgata, Chakshuha Adhuryo, Manaha Brahma. So this Brahma's place is taken by the mind of the person. What am I looking for? And of course this can vary also. Today something is, let us say in childhood somebody likes certain thing, but once he grows or matures, maybe he will laugh at, was this something which was so dear to me earlier? And so it is possible that Manas is something that decides, do you like to say something that has gone wrong to be rectified, plus you want to add something. So now we have Vak, Prana, Chakshus and Manas. These are basically the components, the limbs of the body, but then their coordination or their benefits to somebody's activity are equivalent to what is learned from Rigveda, Samveda, Yajurveda and Atharvaveda. Which means Vedas are not just static texts somewhere. They have certain ways of trying to prepare a person, handle various responsibilities in life. Though of course it also includes the spiritual part, it also includes the rituals part. Rituals are the physical manifestation, whereas the mental equivalent also is equally the yajna. And every case, of course, Vedas have mentioned, a person does the yajna, gets the result. One who knows how to do, one who goes through the drill mentally, he also gets the same phala. Yeah, evam Veda is mentioned in all yajnas. A person does this, but a person also is aware of the efficacy, aware of the procedures, aware of the paraphernalia involved, etc., etc. He can mentally have a walkthrough of the whole thing. Then as well, he will be able to achieve the result, which means he can apply it into various situations and benefit himself and others. So in such a case, now we have Brahma, Mano Brahma, Shrotram, Agnit. Agnit is one who actually in this device. Anything? Any intervention? Anyone wanting to ask anything?
Everybody is there or not?
Can I continue?
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
So now, Agni is one of the person who actually tries to maintain the fire so that outings are done. He is poured into the fire, the jwala should be there. Suppose there is Anna Hupi. This Anna is put in, then the flame should not be there. Only the embers should be there, the Angara should be there. So this kind of, for different kinds of things to maintain that, this is one of the restrictions. This job is called Agni. Agni Milvayati. So Agni is what the Shruti says. More when is required, one should be opening up his ears all the time. He should be willing to listen to. Okay, you want to change things or you want to tune it with the actual requirement. If the requirements keep changing, be all the time karnabhyam bhuri vishnuvam bhadram karne vishnuyama deva. So one should also be trying to see that we do something with some kind of assumption, and is the assumption right or something has to change. So the ears have to do this job of trying to keep constantly checking up. Yavadhyayat yasa diksha. In the case of yajna, there is a duration fixed. Something like Somayagas basically have 3 days required. So maybe there are Dwadashaha, Ashwamedha, etc. They take different versions, different number of days. There is something called Gavamayana which takes 1 full year. So the yajnas are of different kinds of duration. But this Marshika yajna, it says, as long as a person lives, that is the Diksha Kala. Diksha is something, yes, I have taken up this activity till I am done. I will be following this rules, etc. rigorously. Now, there cannot be any relaxation at any time. This is what it says. Yavat dhriyate sa diksha. Dhriyate means a person is alive. He keeps the body going. Till then, the diksha kala exists. That is, you are bound by your learning that you be of use at all times when you are alive. Okay. Yadashnati yattibati tadasya somapanam. See, these are the very good examples of the concept of yajna. Whatever you eat, whatever you drink, that itself is, you do a somayana and get the somapana done, that actually gets you the brahmanya, that gets you the tapashakti. It even comes from what you normally eat or drink. But that should have a way of learning. But there are 3 words used. Hita, mita, ruta. Hita bhuk, ruta bhuk, mita bhuk, kind of. Eat things that are good to us as ordained in the Shastra. Something like Sattvika Ahara mentioned by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. Second, about the quantity. Just don't keep on guzzling. Eat twice a day. Eat properly, systematically, maybe timely, etc. Also, the Rita book actually means eat things earned out of hard work. This also means that don't try to be eating up at the cost of someone else. And so the responsibility part is there. The choice part based on the gunas that it will create, that is to be sattvic, is the other part. Third, of course, is the quantity part. So based on need, so whatever you eat or drink itself is the samapana. Yadramate tad upasadaha. The yajnas have many multiple sub-activities. Purvangas, Pradhana Homas, Uttarangas, then repeated 3 times a day, repeated for the duration of the yajna, etc. All these are whatever you would normally do to keep yourself happy, pleasant. Yet Ramate tad upasadaha. Upasad are the names of the homas that are done at different times of the day and which are angas of the yajna. In their place, whatever pleases you, but of course it is also helpful to the others kind of. It is not selfish. In such a sense, whatever your activity that keeps you, it is something like, if something is satisfying to you, a trained person, a sattvic person, that is good enough to see that you do not have much tension. You also try to see, yes, I have fulfilled my duties. That tries to give you a sense of fulfillment. So that itself is equivalent to the upasad homas, which have to be done for various homas before, later, prayaja, anuyaja, etc. Then, yat sancharati, upavishati, uttishthate cha, sapravargyaha. Sanchara is you keep moving around. Upavishati, you are seated somewhere. Uttishthate, you are standing up. Sitting, standing, moving around, any activity can be part of a universal yajna, wherein anything that we do it with purpose, we do it with benefits which range beyond one's own self. Beyond a person, if you try to see this is of use, then that qualifies as pravargya. Pravargya is one of the angas of the yajna, which is said to be the head of the yajna. Yajnasya shiraha. Pravargyaha yajnasya shiraha. So the most important part is any act is of use and it is not wastage of time or wastage of effort. So trying to optimize or maximize one's own resources. That is what it tries to tell you. Yan mukham tad ahavaniyaha. Ahavaniya is the yajna, Agni in which we put in the offering. The mouth itself is the ahavaniya. So even taking food is said to be the yajna, because we call it as pranahuti. When someone has to eat twice in a day, and that itself is stated as agnihotra, then the ahuti put into the agni, the equivalent here is you put in the food into your mouth. Mukham ahavaniya, yan mukham tad ahavaniya. But be responsible, be systematic, stick to the injunctions of the Vedic teachings. This is what it means. Yadasya vijnanam tad juhoti. Juhoti are the homas. Okay, the homas are vijnana, with clear knowledge and purpose. Whatever one does, this is the homa. The juhoti and yajati, they have two different. Yajati is a set of homas. Juhoti is each individual homa. So juhoti chodana is individual ahuti, and yajati chodana, when you say yaga, it has multiple number of hands put together in some time and other things specified. So, see, Brahmachari during his Gurukula Vasa has to do the Agni Karya twice a day. Equivalent to that, eating in the morning and evening. So only twice one has to eat. Yat sayamatti, yat pratarati, tat samidha. Yat sayam pratar madhyanti nancha tani savanani. For your eating, you are allowed to eat twice. Sayam pratar dijatinam ashanam suti choditam. Only twice eating food is prescribed for the Brahmanas, for the agents. Whereas for the Devatas, we have to offer thrice during the day. They are called Pratah Savana, Madhyandana Savana and Sayam Savana. So the Samit place, Samit that is used by a Brahmachari in the case of Agni Karya is equivalent to our eating twice a day. Sayam Pratarati tat Samida. Yet Sayam Pratar Madhyanjanancha Tani Savanani. Now you don't do a yajna, but then treat those time itself. The components of time, the periods from, let us say, sunrise till afternoon, then the afternoon to evening, then of course the whole night is stated as one, Tatiya Savana. So the time itself has to be well spent. It says Sayam Pratar Madhyandana, they themselves are the Savanas. Savana actual word means in the Somayaga, we actually press or using a stone, crush the Somalata and get the Soma juice. Of course the Rasa, that is used for Homas and the Shesha is taken. That is the Somapana that is mentioned. Equivalent to that is the time itself. Use every time responsibly. In fact, there are 3 Sandhyas have to be performed. It's a Prata Sandhya, Madhyanika and Sayam Sandhya. This is the pleasing the Devatas and with their blessing carrying on our activities. So the time itself is equivalent to the Savana if actual yajna were to be done. Ye ahoratre te darsha purnamasav. In the case of Agnihotri, during Amavasya and Purnami, they have to do a yajna, that is darsha on Amavasya and Purnamasa on the Purnami. For a person treating life as a yajna, day and night take the place of, day is the equivalent of Purnami, night is the equivalent of Amavasya. Ye ahoratre te darsha Purnamasav. And ye ardha masascha te chaturmasyani. In the case of an Agnihotri, apart from doing Agnihotra every day twice, also doing extra ishtis on Amavasya and Purnami every month, in a year, for 4 months, he has to do some special homas called Chaturmasya. Now, in the place of the Chaturmasya for an actual Agnihotri, using the fire and the dravyas, in the life, the Ardhamasas means Pakshas. Sanskrit, Vedas use the word only Ardhamasa. The Paksha is not used. Shukla Paksha, Krishna Paksha, when we say it is used as Ardhamasa, half month, that is what it literally means. Then of course, Masascha. Ardhamasascha, Masascha, te Chaturmasyani. That is the time units themselves. You still have background noise, is it? I do not know where from it comes. In fact, I am alone in a room, there is no disturbance here. I really don't know whether I am not able to see.
Is it coming now?
No, anyway, it just came in winter.
Okay.
Yeah. ये अग्निमासानि मासस्य अते चातुर्मास्यानि ये ये पशुबन्धः. So in the case of Darvi Yajna, these are different components. Pashubandha is the place where the Pashu to be used in the Yajna is tied to the Yupa, and there are homas to be done. So in the place of them, the 6 Ritus, that is the Vasanta, Grishma, Varsha, etc., these 6 Ritus, that is time itself actually makes a person ripen, makes him mature, gives him enough experience to see, he corrects, he improves and becomes of more and more use. So the Pashubandha's purpose is achieved just by living through the different Ritus. There is a statement in the Vedas, Nana Lingatva Ritunam Nana Suryatvam. Surya himself has different properties or characteristics which actually make us identify this is this Ritu kind of. It is the sun's own Tejas, the Prakharata can change. See, it is very hot in some season, very cold in some season. It is rainy season in some other place where partially you have a combination. Maybe different times of the day it varies. So the variation that is brought about in our own attitude as a transformation is attributed to the bhutas which are controlled by the devas. So that is how the Adhidevika and Adhibhautika become part of the yajna, which actually condition us. But Vedas give us a way to use it to our advantage. It is also possible to just, be passively, inertly there and just undergo whatever comes in. Then there won't be much significant to talk about. Whereas if someone has the Vedic injunctions understood well, then for each Ritu, there are different kinds of the mantras, the homas, etc. in the case of yajna, actual yajna. Whereas in the case of the Manasika yajna, this gives time for reflecting on, thinking about, planning, executing different kinds of activities. So the place of Pashubandha in an actual yajna is taken by the Ritus themselves. And similarly, ye samvatsarascha, parivatsarascha, te aharganaha. In the Vedas, of course, there are 2 kinds of yajnas. Some are called as ahinas and some others are called as satras. 2 categories. Ahina is those which are counted by the number of days they take to perform. Anha Sankhyatāha ahīnāha. So, ekaha, dvyaha, treha, chaturaha, panchaha, etc., dvadashaha, kind of thing. So, number of days it takes to complete a yajna, the period, is the reason to name a yajna, then that kind of yajnas are called ahīnas. Beyond 12 days, it's not actually counted in number of days. We actually put them as satra. Satra is the general word for them. Of course, Dvadashaha belongs to both categories. Dvadashaha can be counted as a ahina or satra both. So, up to and including 12 days yajnas are called ahinas, and the rest of them beyond that are called satra. So, in general, it is called ahargana. The duration for yajnas are groups of number of days. They are, in the case of a life itself, Vatsara, every year has got 5 divisions. Samvatsaraha, Parivatsaraha, Idavatsaraha, Idvatsaraha, Vatsaraha. This is how one year is split into 5 different portions, as explained in the Veda. So the different portions have different characteristics, and certain things are best done at certain times, etc. So this is, of course, very explained in good detail in the Vedas. In the Kataka portion of Taittiriya Shaka, we have every muhurta in a day. There are 60 gatikas in a day. That is 24 hours in a day. This 24 hours is split into 60 portions, 30 in the day and 30 in the night. Now each one is called a muhurta. 30 in the Amargosha we have 30 muhurtas make a day. For every muhurta there is a name, there is a characteristic mentioned. What if done in that time is best in giving its result. Beyond that, there are also muhurtanam, muhurta kind of thing. So if a person is very well aware of the nuances of the variation of nature with respect to, that is the time as well as the gunas of the person, gunas of the object, then a person will be able to have in control the results that one wants to achieve. So this part is what it mentions, samvatsaraha, parivatsaraha are the aharganaha. So whatever can be done physically can also be done with much lesser effort, but with much more knowledge, with much more concentration and effort towards realizing something, putting into both at the thought and the word level beyond just the action level. It is possible to think of good things, to speak of good things, and then this can wake up for not actually using a physical behavior. So these are the kinds of the teachings that we have about the yajna. So in general, yajna has the equivalent, whereas there is also the conceptual equivalent mentioned in this anuvada. Then, so whatever can be achieved by different yajnas can be achieved just by living life the Vedic way. This is what finally it said, Yan Maranam Tad Avabrataha. So now this ends. Avabrata is a snana that is done to signify the yajna is over. So the Avabrata snana place is to the death of this person. Yan Maranam Tad Avabrataha Etat Jaramaryam Agnihotram. So this says the life is Agnihotra, but there is an adjective, Jaramaryam Agnihotram. Jara Paryantam va, Marana Paryantam va. A person becomes physically unable, weak to carry on, then probably yes, he has to give up because there is no other go. So this is till Marana, if he is alive, active till his last moment. Otherwise, maybe till he is capable. So this Agnihotrium Satram, this is stated as a Satra because this goes maybe even towards years. Maybe it can be a person at 20 years completes Gurukula and comes and lives for 100 years, then 80 years a person could have conducted himself, life being a Satra of lasting 80 years. So, Etadvai Jara Maryam Agnihotragam Satram. Evam Vidwan Udagene Pramiyate, then he goes to Suri Sahibja. That is, if he passes away during Uttarayana, then he goes to Suri Sahibja. If he passes away during Dakshinayana, he goes to Chandra Sahibja, etc. And finally, Tasmat Brahmano Mahimanam Apnoti. Tasmat Brahmano Mahimanam Ityupanishad. This is a very, very concise way of putting the different components. In fact, we try to make this into, this is one kind of an exercise we took up using a software called Protege, in which you can use this ontology to try to explain. Is the screen visible? Is the screen visible to you people? Share the screen. Is it visible to people?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Yeah, so this is, for example, see, Yajamana. Okay, these are the variables that are used. It has part, etc. Okay, Yajna, if you want to try to put it into ontological way, then Yajamana is the Purusha, then has, for example, Patni is the wife, etc. Then, so one can try to also build this up, let us say, to understand this, the conceptual part into various ways. For example, the various Ritvik are the participants, are the priests used in the yajna, Hota, Udgata, Adhuryu, Brahma, Agnidra, etc. We now talked about, that is, this teaching can be very well understood or try to be concentrated on by different ways. You can model them, you can try to get repeatedly reciting or discussing various ways, but trying to see that one becomes very clear and much rooted to what has been taught. There are a number of ways that somebody can try to use this. So this is how, whether this is one way of putting it. That is, you are external world equivalent to yeah.
Sir, so who is the adhikari for doing this yajna? Does the adhikara come by doing the yajna, or is it that you have to have certain prerequisite samskara to do it?
It depends on the type of yajna. See, there are certain, for example, the manasika yajnas are open for all. That is, a person can wish good to be of use to people, that can be done by anyone. Only in the case of Dravi yajnas, that is through the Agni, the Treta Agni, then of course the Trivarnikas are said to be the Adhikari, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and they have to do the asana in different ritus, and then they follow different kinds of regime, etc. This has been specified. Mimamsa has got one full chapter devoted to this. 6th chapter of Purva Mimamsa of Jaimini has this, and that chapter has 8 quarters actually. It's a Sharabhadhyaya. And there he has discussed about, see, the Kamana is the driving factor. The kamana can be common to all. Let us say, everyone may want to have, let us say, get Swarga kind. But Swarga of what description, Swarga of what duration, Swarga achieved through which means, and what you want to do there, etc. Swarga is not to become Indra. Again, there are a number of ways. There are also yajnas that say how to become Indra, how to become the controller of Swarga. You now want to be, let us say, you go as a tourist there, you enjoy the place and come back is one kind of participation. So the different kinds of phala or the uddesha or the objective defines what should be done. Of course, the Vedic yajnas through Veda mantras has this prescription that this is for the Traivarnika. And of course, there are the traditional view, the conservative traditional view is Traivarnika Purushadhikara. Whereas, of course, like the Arya Samaj's views that he had tried to mention, they also hold women are also having the adhikara. In the traditional view, women are having the adhikara in the phala, but not in the performance of every mantra, every homa kind of thing. Tasyaha yavaduktam ashir brahmacharyam atulyatva is one rule which specifically says what all are the duties of a patni in the yajna. That is, she can only recite a few things which are meant for her, but the rest of them are to be done by the Purusha only, husband only kind. So, she doesn't have to do Vedadhyana for doing those recitals where it is meant for her to be said. It is taught at that time to her and then she repeats. That is the way it has been mentioned. Whereas, you require Vedadhyana for using this mantras or the carrying out of the homas, yagas, etc. So, from that point of view, Vedadhyana becomes a prerequisite for Shauta yajnas. But Shauta yajnas are not the only yajnas. In fact, that is why I brought up this Upanishadic view which say life is a yajna and anyone can do good, anyone can be of use. He can take the use from nature, he can benefit, he can also give back. And so that is where the Japa yajna, for example, it does not require, it does not restrict a person by varna. Similarly, Jnana yajna, Bhagavad Gita also mentions Davi yajna, Tapo yajna, Jnana yajna, Tathai yajna, Swadhyaya jnana yajna. So Swadhyaya yajnas are possible, Jnana yajnas are possible. So yajna, of course, I said, is in general ordained by Vedas, has a universal scope and applicability, and has a rigor and commitment or the scrupulous maintenance necessary. Which means you need to have the faith, you need to see, you stick to, adhere to the instructions kind of. You hold Maharshis as the recipients of the divine knowledge, and they have told us in our own interest kind of, and we believe them, etc. So, your question, of course, only someone has to do with Agni. But today it has become so less, hardly maybe, even I don't know whether 100 Agnihotris exist today, I am not sure. So it has reduced to such a low level. It's not possible to have this actual yajna done where this discrimination might exist. Whereas a yajna for anybody's life is still open. In fact, I am also wanting to, that's why take Purusha Sukta. He is right in putting this classification, the yajnana, yajnamayajanta. So this is the other angle. That is, you want to receive the benefits. Benefits are not denied to anyone, irrespective of who he is, where he is. Whether he has done Vedadhyana or not, it is not. In fact, there is a good example I can give. Vedanta Rishika has used this in relation to the Sharanagati, that is surrendering to God, to see that yes, I am not capable of doing things as ordained, but nevertheless I am desirous of getting the results. That is reaching the God's place and then serving Him or serving the humanity in general. Please help me out. So in that case, he is trying to mention, yes, there are people who have done the Vedadhyana well, they know the meanings, they are also able to carry out the acts mentioned there, and they get the result. Then that is out of their hard work and they deserve, there is no question. Whereas, I am in a place equivalent to what he says, there is an emperor, a Chakravarti, a king who has got the whole, Bhumi under his control, a Sarvabhauma king. He is able to enjoy Panchabhaksha Paramanna every day. He is able to have the choicest of the delicate food, etc. This is because it is his own. He has earned it and he is able to spend the way he feels like. But if the same food that this Sarvabhauma Chakravarti consumes is shared by him out of compassion with others, the taste will not reduce. The result can be achieved by others, not actually earning them or owning them by themselves. Even in a house it is possible. Suppose the housewife cooks for all the persons in the house. Maybe there are 10 people in the house. The taste does not change because someone prepared it or because someone paid for it or someone brought it in or provided for it or because someone is not even aware. Let's say there is a child. It doesn't even know. But it will still, the benefit part will still remain the same. In fact, the word Sayujya used in the Upanishads, Brahmana, Sayujyagam Salokatam Apnoti. Sayujya as a word means Sayujoho Bhavaha Sayujyam. Sayuk is one who is with the other. Not all can have equal footing or equal stake, but the results will not change. So the Sayujya portion is what is stressed in the Veda. One person does yajna for a whole grama. The entire grama gets benefit of the yajna. Then they can also participate, they can cooperate with him, they can try to help him in different ways. Okay. So in that sense, you don't need that everyone has to. For example, you don't need to know the law fully to get justice. You can approach a person who knows and take the help of a person. Similarly, the Vaidika karma, that is one of the reasons Vedas have mentioned, as much as by actually doing physically the yajna, the phalas are also got by the one who knows this. But knowing also has the responsibility of conducting accordingly. That is, you behave in a Vaidika way, you behave in a Sattvika way, beneficial to all at all times. Then of course you also get the equivalent of what is got by the actual sweating out. Okay? So from that point, yes, the adhikara does not vary other than the dravya yajnas. Dravya yajnas are varnashrama dependent. Okay, for example, there are only very limited agnikarya for a brahmachari. So brahmacharya ashrama does not have where there is patni involved. Brahma yajna alone is allowed for him where Vedic recitation is possible. Otherwise, agnikarya is mentioned for him. He can also do certain minimal things if the acharya, guru and guru patni have gone out of station or they have, let us say, some ashocha, etc. At that time, the shishya on behalf of the guru can maintain the agni, guru's agni, for a very minimal few things that are ordained for him. Whereas grihastha has full scope of every kind of benefit for himself, for other, including of course the abhichara. Suppose you want to kill a person, you can also have a hostile aim and still use yajnas for that. But this reduces to a vanaprastha. A person will not have agni, actual fire is not to be there, but he will use the jnana portion in place of the agni. And of course the sannyasi finally, he will not even have the agni, nor he will do anything for worldly benefits. He will only think about liberation or his own salvation kind. Maybe he can also preach others how to reach the salvation kind. So it actually has different stations of life, which are called the ashramas. Based on the ashrama, the dharma varies. Based on the varna, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra, the yajnas vary. But the benefit does not get restricted to any one of these. Benefits include everyone. There, of course, men, women are not distinguished. Similarly, Chaturtha, even Chandalas are also not excluded. Similarly, animals, birds, etc., any living being is not excluded at all. Yajnas actually benefit many other, even insects kind of them. Shrutis have number of such statements and discussions. But Taittiriya Samhita is one of the very good gold mine, I would say, if someone wants to really go through. We had done this much earlier when I joined CDAC. We had one very good Ayurvedic doctor in Pune, one Madhusudan Nanal. He was in Lakshmi Road. Then we did a good study for about 3 months or so, Veda and Ayurveda. I was wanting to know from the Ayurvedic side, which are all, there are also treatments without medicine in the Ayurveda. It also says mantras can be used. Charaka has mentioned mantras can be used for maintaining health and not consuming even medicines at all, the whole life. So I was just curious and I actually listed out more than 300 such prescriptions in the Taittiriya Samhita. And we were trying to find out which dravya causes what if it is externally through a medicine. Suppose we want to avoid that, then by lifestyle this is possible to achieve the same. So this kind of studies are possible. So Vedas in general can be known by one person even, and he can be useful to the entire universe. Veda Vyasa is one such person. Most all our rishis are that people. And even today we may have people who can help others to realize the full potential of life, not having to actually do every step themselves. And it is also not feasible, practically. Yeah, but there are some where there is a Varna Niyama, Varna Ashtama Niyama, where actually this Treta Agni has to be used, then Agni Adhana is necessary. And Adhana, of course, requires with Patni, but Patni does not have to do all things. There are descriptions as to what Devana should do, what Patni should do. But full in the Sankalpa is there, equal participation. Dampatyo Samadhikaraha, that is what it has said. But activities are not same. But the example that Vedanta gave is like, the king has got a servant. The king parts with whatever he is with this servant. The servant goes home and gives it to his children. Now his children have friends in their neighboring houses. Now this child gives this to the child of the neighboring house. That child does not even know the king. At least this child has its father working for the king. Even then, Dhumte Bhogan Avidita Nrupaha Sevakasya Arbhakadihi. This is what Vedanta mentioned. It hardly matters whether you don't even know that person and remotely connected with him. You have actually earned by your own Parakrama. So, the Brahma Sahajya is such that the Parabrahma is capable of sharing entire thing with everyone else through the Vedic way of prescription. That is why Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. We say. Now, I don't know if that actually addresses what you are wanting to ask. Then maybe if there is.
Yeah. One question is, of course, one thought is that the spiritual awakening person who is doing the exam is going to play in the phala of the yajna. Is that true?
I'm not able to hear clearly.
The spiritual elevation, that means the awakening of person, does it have any effect on the phala of the yajna?
On the performance of the yajna, sir?
The outcome of the yajna.
Yes, what happens is, yes, that is why we said this Paustika portion, see the same thing is done, the physical paraphernalia remains the same, but one can add value, one can amplify. That is where Yadeva Vidyaya Karoti Shraddhaya Upanishada Tadeva Viryavat Bhavati. This is the word used in the Chandogya Upanishad. Two people do the same thing. Deva Vayad Yajna Akurvata Tad Asuraha Akurvata. The Vedas mention Devas and Yajnas exactly did the same drill physically. But Devas prevailed and Asuras lost. This is because of certain attitudinal, number one. Number two, faith related. Number three, their spiritual standing. Yes, this is one of the factors. And this can be, of course, that is where I said, the Jnana Yajnas concentrate on this, even with the exclusion of the physical angle. That can be substituted by Jnana, but not the other way around. Okay? You have done something actually, but if, for example, it is very simple case is the recitation itself. Someone is able to fully recite the Vedas without even, let's say, looking at the book. It still does not mean he has the wisdom contained in those mantras known or experienced by him. Whereas, to know that is a different effort. There are people who have not done Vedas, they have known the meaning through books, etc. That is one way. Though Vedas do not encourage that, they discourage it also. But it is not enough to just know. It is also necessary to dwell upon, think upon. The more one does, in fact, the Yajnopavita is one of the cases that the Vedas mention. Devas and Asuras did the Yajnas together similarly to reach Swarga. Sahavai Devaha Devanancha Asuranancha Yajnau Pratatau Astam Vayam Swargam Lokameshyamaha Vayameshyamaha iti. There was a kind of spardha. There was a kind of conquest. There is a kind of the spirit of challenge. Who goes first? Who remains longer there, etc. Vayam Swargam Lokameshyamaha Vayameshyamaha iti. Te Asuraha Sannahya Sahasaiva Acharan. There are two drawbacks that the Vedas mention. Sannahya Sahasaiva. That is, all the Sannahas they did not worry about what is not mentioned. Explicitly said things are mentioned, whereas there are also things which are conducive to do what the Vedas expect us to do. That part they did not worry about. Second, Sahasaiva, that is Jatiti. The moment someone said this is the way to get something, they just plunged in. Whereas Devatas did, Brahmacharyena Tapasaiva Deva. So Devatas had a difference in these two angles. One, they had the Indriya Nigraha, Brahmacharya. That is, let us not go overboard, let us not get arrogant. Don't think that, okay, we have known, we will achieve. Maybe we need to be cautious, we need to be right in what we do, for which we need to think up a lot. Brahmacharyena tapasa devaha yajnam ayajanta. So what happened? Prasatena vai yajnena devaha swargam lokamayan na prasatena asuran parabhavayan. One word the Shruti uses is prasrita. Prasrito havai yajnopavitino yajnaha aprasritaha anupavitinaha. Now the yajnopavita, the Shrutis of course have a very great description how to prepare the yajnopavita. Within yajnopavita it adds so much of spiritual quotient which Asuras did not use, and so they were deprived of, even though they have performed the yajna. Now, the Yajnopavita today, of course, Manu also decries people who do not know the procedure. Yajnopavita, Nirmana, Pratishtha, Vidhi, there are mantras, there are ways, there are prescriptions, etc. Devas did this, and hence they prevailed. So, the Shruti says, Yajnopaviteva adhiyita yajayet yajayatava yajnasya prasrityai. So, this prasriti is one word that the Shruti uses to make it wholesome, to make it effective, to make it long-lasting. So this prasriti is the word the Shruti uses, and hence let us have Yajnopavita first. So the Adhyaya actually begins with Yajnopavita. Of course, Asuras might have used, but what actually distinguishes is, there are Devatas meant for creating this, the mantras that are used, then the avahana that is done, the kind of sanidhya that is to be brought in, etc. So with that one is able to achieve. If that is not there, even though the actual physical act is performed, it is not giving the result. This Vedas have mentioned specifically. So this is one angle. Similarly, of course, next is Sandhya Vandana. The next Anuvaka talks about, see, Sandhya Vandana is not part of any yajna. So Asura said, fine, yajna is first done, we will do the yajna. And they also did the yajna to reach Swarga only to fight with Surya. So this is also possible. That is, you can also have a negative agenda in your mind. I wanted to do yajna, get power to trouble others. That is possible. Whereas the Devatas had not that kind of an effort, whereas to see we can be of help. Suppose we become adhipatis to the loka, then let us be capable of getting people. See, they want to get rains, they want to have prosperity, they want to have various benefits. Then let us be getting the powers to help others. So this also matters. And Shrutis are very clearly mentioned. There are more than 10 occasions where in Taittiriya Samhita we have Devavaya Dejnya Akurvata, Tarasuraha Akurvata. But in different places, different things are missing, and so different balas did not take place. This is mentioned. And all of them, of course, point to one, self-control. Number two, caring about the benefit, not getting hostile to anyone. In fact, in the Somayaga, this is there. Even when you get the Somalata, or when you get a tree cut for making a yupa, there are homas to be done on the stump of the tree. There are also homas to be done from the place where you pluck out something. So, any life is equally valid as our own life, and every life has to be given the respect that it deserves, and Vedic mantras have to be followed. In many cases, okay, the Asuras overlooked such aspects which were not directly connected and hence lost out. This is the way it says. And this together can be put as the spiritual quotient of the person. Okay, so yeah, spiritual angle has been very clearly listed out in a number of places. It actually, and the highest portion of it is not even actually doing the physical thing, but getting the benefit through jnana alone. Okay. Yeah. So, any more doubts left? Is there?
That's good. Thank you so much.
Good. So, yeah, let's take up the Purusutta. The natural I can just try to give. The mantras are known to maybe various people, but what basically it says is, before you are asked to do a yajna, the necessary things to do the yajna should be in place. So, Purusha Sukta is creation to see that yajna is possible. Yajna, of course, is prescribed as the way to achieve whatever one's desire. But yajna itself requires, for example, Agni should be there, Samhita should be there, Ajya should be there, Pashu should be there, Ritik should be there, Veda should be there. So, the Purusha Sukta talks about all the necessary ingredients that go into performing of a yajna are created first, then the Lord asks you to do the yajna. Okay? That is, an impossible thing is never ordained. That is, something which is ashakya is not told. And if it is be shakya, then the things have to be created first. In fact, if you see in the Purusha Sukta, Vasanto asya sidajyam grishma idhva sharad dhavi. So even the ritus are created. Kala is required, dravyas are required, bhutas are required. Then Sama jajjire, Chandanu jajjire, Tasmat Tasmal Jayata. It does not mean Vedas are not Nitya. Actually, it was created for every yajna, the mantras, the Vedas have to be done, their prashchitas, etc. For this purpose, this rik is required, this yajus is required, this Sama is required, in these different chanda it should be used, etc. So, it is to say, before given a task, you are given all the necessary equipments to carry it out. Then, of course, your efficacy is measured. So, yajnena yajnam ayajanta devaha. That is the statement in the end. So now, yajna was the sadhana. When Tritiya Vibhakti is used, yajna was the sadhana. Then what was the aim, the karma? Yajnam. Yajnam yajnena ayajanta means what? Which means that we are talking about two different things. One is the physical manifestation. The other one is how this will be conceptually first. This is like drawing up a plan before building a house. It is conceptually there in your mind. Where hall will be there, where kitchen will be there, where stairs will be there, where doors will be there, etc. This is necessary first. Then you translate it into action is one level. Second, what all things can people like or want? And based on the different kinds of desires, then what are things to be created? So, Bhogya, Bhogopakarana, Bhogasthana, these are the three kinds of things that are created, which is described in the Purusha Sukta. Different kinds of Bhogyas and different Bhoga Upakaranas. For example, the Indriyas are required, time is required, physical objects are required, mantras are required, and someone who will tell you this. So then, the God or Purusha or the Parabrahma, whatever the eternal Tattva, it took the form of a Purusha. So, Sahasra Shirisha Purusha, it began with saying that 1,000 varieties of thinking, objectives, they can even be counter to each other. One can nullify the other, etc. But still, Vedas are meant for all the kinds of aspiration. Traigunya Vishaya Vedaha, Krishna said, whether you are a Satvika, Rajasa or Tamasa, it does not matter. For every person, it has something for everyone. Vedas have something for everyone. That is why the Abhikara is also there. Someone wants to kill somebody, yes. But if you do this, you should also be mindful of the consequences. So these are the kinds of, he created things like, okay, let us have 1,000 varieties of things, allow people freedom. Whoever wants to choose whatever, let him do. But then will we not be misleading people? No, it won't happen. Finally, they will all converge. Maybe the time taken can vary. Someone can come up very soon, someone may take very long time. But what happens is, there are two ways. Not curbing a person, allowing by personal experience, know something is one way. That has at least one plus point of no more, oh, if I had done this, maybe I would have achieved. That kind of objection will never come. You have gone through, you have been given enough freedom, you tried this, everything else. And when everything else has failed, then ananyatva will happen. Ultimately, ananyasyantayan tomam, when the Lord, Shruti also mentioned, Namo Vishwakarmane, the Lord is said to be Vishwakarma, the one who creates the entire Vishwa. Now, Namo Vishwakarmane, Sa upat vasman, let him protect us. Saha asman patu, sa eva asman patu, ananya somapan manyamanaha. This is there in the Somayaga mantra. We are ananyas. We have no other way of achieving this except through what the Vedas have taught us. How do you know this? Without Veda, you be an Astika, try out various things. Of course, you might have failed. Similarly, a person with partial faith are doing things, half right, half wrong. Every combination has been thought of. Okay, you don't want to benefit from others' experience, put it up. You have your own experience. So Vedas don't stop a person. They don't inhibit a person. At the same time, it also has, in the same breath, mentioned various efforts done by different people, what they achieve. If you want to be wise, want to benefit from others, cut down maybe your own time, you are welcome. But otherwise, it is not forced. Okay. Vedas do not make a distinction. Dharma is less, Artha is less, Kama is Moksha is more. It is never said. All Purusharthas are given equal footing. And of course, everyone might come to all of them is the universal wisdom in the end. Okay, given infinite time, anyone would finally ask for, okay, let me be out of all this, running around. And it might happen. So, the yajnana yajnam concept is to see, allow necessary things required, give freedom. But then, keep an eye on things. See, ultimately what it says is, Vedaham etam purusham mahantam adityavarnam tamasastu pare. He is above all this, is not affected, is able to see things from the top. So the Surya Mandala is used as, when Gayatri Mantra uses that, Savituha Varenyam Bhargaha, when we say, there is one high and mighty power, or the Tejas that is there. In fact, in this one mantra, Satyena Rajasa Avartamano Niveshayan Amutam Martyanja, there, Hiranyayena Savita Rathena Ayati Bhuvana Vipashyan. He just keeps watching, he just keeps noting down who does what. And accordingly, the benefits are given to them. So, he is just Mitra Krishtir Animisha Vichaste, another mantra which says, Animisha, without even batting an eyelid, no moment is wasted in seeing who is doing what. But he doesn't interfere. He tries to give facilities. So, you can benefit through others' experiences or through rishis. There are a number of suttas which are helpful. That is what I was saying about Atharvana Veda in the Paustika portion which says, Medha can be improved, Shraddha can be improved, Bhakti can be got. You can cut down the time that you take in wandering or straying away from the finally expected route is possible. So there it says, Na karmana, na prajeya, dhanena, tyage, naike, amrtatvamanashu. A few people like Sannyasa Yoga, Dyataya, Shuddha Sattva, such statements exist. So there are, but it is not that they started there. They also could have taken a long journey before reaching where they are. But relatively, today we are able to see better person and if you benefit, yes, we can be wise kind of. So,
one question. So, this ontology that you mentioned, right? Is work completed or is there something that students can do?
Yeah, we could do. Yeah, I want to take up, in fact, as an assignment I am just having in mind, I will take up and work with some of those who would be willing to see we grow some more. In fact, more complexity can be added. See, I have just given only the skeleton now. The skeleton is only to appreciate what it is. But there are a lot more details. But we can even do it for physical benefit, let us say. It's like getting rains. Okay. So I'm just saying, if these things are ingredients and this is the way this is done, they should click or they should work kind of. So when I'm just saying, the system of Veda can be internalized with more and more kind of involvement. Okay. I'm only initially giving that it is worth doing. See, today's talk is only to say that it is worth actually following this route. Wherever it takes us immaterial, yes, there has been enough of our ancestral work or the statements which actually says, yes, people have believed and then benefited. So we have some reason to at least consider, go through, get to know the details kind of. Okay. But we need to work. I have, of course, I don't know immediately that file I was trying to look for. This two-column thing I have actually put up for this. Along with Kavi Mahesh, I was working on this at that time. He was in PIVS then. So, there is one thing. Maybe he has become the director of IIT Hyderabad now. Okay, Professor Kavi Mahesh of PIVS. Okay, and he called up and said, as soon as he got his work, he said, I would like to continue some of those things. I was much interested kind of, and we will also see like some institutional way of trying to do something like. So, okay, so it is possible to look up. In fact, even the Rashtriya Veda Vidya Pratishthan now has a known person now. The Jedipal has taken over. That's what Varkedi was telling me. Jadipal was in Tirupati Vidyapat and I have known for many years. So if there are right people, we can try to see that. I said actually, we would like to create something which will be much more detailed, maybe which will give you a little more step-by-step, in-depth kind of view into what this whole system is. That will be useful. Yeah, we will try to say some more things on these lines that is possible. I think this full Anuvaka I have made that I will fish out and share with people. Then of course it will be further grow. Okay.
Yeah, especially if we can draw those parallels between the physical aspect and the...
Yeah, that is there in the syllabus later. That's what I was looking for. Yeah. Yeah, there is something in the syllabus later, we need to relate it. So at that time, yes, I have a few things in mind like this, about 5-6 different experiments, including the one I was telling you, the Veda and Ayurveda kind of thing. One on the environment also I try to write up. There is one write-up I made about the environmental consciousness of our ancient seers. So we can try to take some small things and then at least try to see. We can slowly relate. We can relate and maybe use it more into our lives, our daily experiences. Yeah, that should be possible. Yeah, I'll also locate it and share it in this thing. So for this Anuvaka I have written it up. English equivalent also I have given in some place. This presentation was made in ISA sometime, so I will anyway get out that file and then share that. Yeah, there are ways of even working on the programming side, like using some of those OWL kind of things and then have something on hand is also possible. That is something I have in mind in case some of those participants are willing or they are able to do things. And that is where I was saying, once maybe if I am able to come there, then come and then sit and also try to see. Maybe a week I can plan, let me see if that will... I'll discuss it on that little later, but yes, definitely we want to see, we reach somewhere, at least each course will have some delta is getting added and then finally they become something solid on the basis of which others can easily take it. Maybe a book is also due, that is something I am also slowly thinking. We can have some kind of good material prepared out of all this. Okay. And even transcription is possible, that is one thing I am wanting to see. These records, the recording that is done, if someone can slowly try to transcribe even, into text form, it will help at times. Of course, yeah, if people have time or something, because it will help in some kind of revision is number one. Number two, to make this more searchable or things like that, or more, it can be copied, pasted to other required places. Okay, yeah. So, that was it. I think so maybe we'll stop today.
I have a doubt, sir. I mean, some clarification that I need. What is the opinion of the Vedas on free will? Because you were discussing about the Sahasra, Shirsha, Purusha, and the different all the different kinds of ideas being provided so as to choose between those interested to achieve their own interested ends. Yes. They may choose. So does this imply that Veda advocates free will to the souls, to the beings, to jivas?
Yeah. So the question is, I have of course a little apprehension about the very word free will. I don't know, the word as free will is not used in the Indian tradition, and I don't know if it has any other connotation from any other religion. Our part is simple. Actually, it's a very important and very interesting discussion in the Brahma Sutra actually. In the Brahma Sutras, there is one full adhikarana based on, related to this. One is Jnatritva, Kartritva, Bhoktrutva. Three aspects are mentioned to the living beings. Okay, any being has ability to know. It knows itself. At least the knowledge of I exists with everyone. Two, something good or bad to it in terms of, let us say, food, for example. Ahara, Nidra, Bhaya, Maithuna. These are things I just mentioned in the first lecture itself. A few things that are good to you, bad to you can be known. And of course, to choose something which you aspire for. So, Jnatritva includes this. You know yourself, you know something good or bad to you, and you also know something which you want to achieve which is not already achieved. Avaptam, Anavaptam, Avaptavyam. This kind of knowledge, this is one aspect that is there with all living beings. Number two is Kartritva. You decide to do something, you are given ability to do what you want to do. This is the second thing. Third is bhoktrutva. Whatever you did, you get the results according to that, commensurate with that, and you can enjoy that. These three, jnatritva, kartritva, bhoktritva, jnanati, ichchati, yatate. These are the three steps that are there. Jnanati, ichchati, yatate. You know something, then you wish to do something, then you do or do some actual physical act towards achieving what you want to have. Now in these three stages, there is no interference. If there is an interference, then it is not possible. If knowing can be stopped by somebody, then there is a difficulty. That is not stopped anywhere. Similarly, wishing is not stopped by anyone. Doing also. But then, if you do what will be the result is of course listed. Suppose a child touches fire. It might not know at that stage, let us say at a very young age, it might not know that this is harmful. Nevertheless, if it touches us, it will have the effect on that. Now a person knowing, so what happens is there is a transformation of these beings with respect to various experiences they have. Now, if there is a guidance, if they can do differently, it should not be treated as curbing the free will. This is one aspect. The Vedas try to say, Devas do like this, Asuras do like this, Devas get this, Asuras get this. It's just do's and don'ts, okay? You are free to choose. Now, a person can change, of course, from this group to that group, back, all that is also possible, depending on. Now, there is only one angle which is to be very understood in a very great detail is the concept called karma. Okay, the karma has been talked about in the Vedas, which of course people generally comment that it is against the free will. See, you cannot get good thoughts unless you have done good deeds earlier, etc. It goes into a cycle, it's a loop kind of. It is not that way. So that is where this is true. The Brahma Sutras have taken up these three together. Nyota eva. There are 14 sutras beginning with Nyota eva, Nyaha eva. The Atma knows himself, knows his environment, knows what he would like to do, how to achieve something, and he has achieved something and has experiences. So this put together is called Nyadhikarana. There is one Adhikarana dealing with what is the essential characteristic of a living being. Then of course, Purusha Sukta talks it about Sashana, Anashana. Sashana, Anashana, Abhi. Sashana are the living beings, those which eat. And Anashana are those which do not eat. Those are non-living things. So the Sashana, Anashana division in the Purusha Sukta is of course described in the Brahma Sutras as Chetanaha, Nyaha, or Jiva, Janati, Ichchati, Yatate. He has these three abilities. First thing. Next. Then what happens to karma? You said karma drives a person. If karma is the agent which is the cause of thing, then things will be predetermined. Then what is it that is open or which is still free to be tried out? This is the question. And there, this adhikarana is called as Parayatta adhikarana. Jivatma has abilities of freedom subject to a little limitation. The Chandogya uses one example. Yatha Shakunihi Sutrena Baddhaha Dishan Disham Patitva Anyatra Ayatanam Aladhva Shankumeva Punarayati. You are given an amount of freedom, but it is not absolute. It has a limit, but it is also to see that it helps. It is not to curb, it is to help. It is like we guide children. Do this, don't do this, we become protective, etc. Why do we do this? If you really see, they are also living beings, they also have free will kind of. This is taken as hitaishitva and not as curbing freedom. There are two different things. Veda is hitaishi. Because of that, what happens is, some of the injunctions, some of the vidhis look like imposition, look draconian. Somebody calls this Hitlerian. It's possible. See, you can name it the way you want it. I don't want you to be lost. Suppose this is the view. Like in Gita, Krishna says, Na shoshyasi vinakshasi. See, this is also a statement from Krishna towards Arjuna. Na shoshyasi vinakshasi. But I don't want you. Name bhakta pranashyati. Kaunte pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. So, there are the different aspects are to be put together and seen. Irresponsible freedom is not free will. unbridled liberty is not free will. And second, it should not be mistaken with foolhardiness. See, freedom can be foolhardiness. I will touch fire. It should not do anything to me. It's none of our ability to make this happen. And definitely the outcome is not favorable or not desirable. It is not that free will is something is so open, do anything whatever. So in fact, people have actually mistook. Many people have mistaken. Maybe it is influence of many other kinds of religions even. Vedas have not stopped a person. Vedas have given abundant caution. Plus they also say, you do something which benefits you and others is to be preferred. That is why it is yajna. Vedahi yajnatham abhipravrittaha. When Layudha said, see, given this, if someone can do such a wonderful thing, why should he settle for anything less? This is the line the Vedas have taken. I don't mind if you want to go to doom, I don't stop you. In fact, there is andhantama pravishanti, ye avidyam paripasate. I have no issue. You follow avidya and then go to andhantamas. Ye kete atmahana janaha. This word used is atmahana in Ishavasya Upanishad. It is as good as killing the atma. It's not possible. Atma is nitya. The atmahatya, the word is not true. Atmahatya is actually deha hatya. Okay? Whereas the Shruti says, you can become as useless that a thing that is as much worthy is being put to such a state that it's as good as not existing. Okay? So the Ninda and Stotra is what is done in the Vedas. But that is called as Vidhi. Ninda also is a Vidhi, Stotra also is a Vidhi. This is because of Hitaishitva. In fact, the Mimamsakas, they have mulled over number of definitions for Vedas. In the Purva Mimamsa we have, in the Vastadhyaya, Vaspada. And finally, what is Veda in essence? Can you tell me in one word? Someone asked. Then finally in the Kumarila Vartika we have Aptasya Hitakamasya Niyogam. This is the final decision they came up with. Aptasya Hitakamasya. A person who is credible, whom you can believe. Vishwasarha is Apta. Aptastu Yathartha Darshi Yathadrishtartha Vadi. These are two definitions of Apta. He sees things as they are and he teaches as he sees. Such a person, like the Rishis, okay, they are the Aptas. So, Apta is Vishwasarha, Aptasya, Hitakamasya. See, Vishwamitra did penance for 18,000 years with so much of vignas and all that. Finally achieved Gayatri Mantra. He does not want others to go through the same drill. He says, fine, you benefit out of my example, my efforts. And so this Hitakamatva comes from avoiding possible difficulty for others if you can. Like, for example, parents saying, in our times we did not have this facility, let our children get this. Kind of Hitakamatva. Now this Aptasya Hitakamasya Niyoga. Niyoga is instruction. Eshaha mam asmin niyumte. Niyoga is instruction, order, maybe injunction. But it is along with these two, Apti and Hitaishitva. If these two are there, it is not a curb on something. But I have many times used this example. People want to please their father-in-law than their father. Because the father will always try to blame the son. He doesn't want to say his good thing. Yeah, that may be last if you try to praise the person. We want him to be more perfect, more perfect. A neighbor can always praise you. That may even bring about your downfall. So the whole idea is Shruti being Hitakama and Apta has certain things which say, don't try, burn your hands and then repent later. It is possible to be wise in the beginning. And yes, it can look like stopping free will. It is not. Free will per se cannot be defined to the exclusion of harm. It is not possible. This has been defined, but there is one very good article. One of our acharyas, there was one Swaminarayan Acharya belonging to Vistadvaita sect in Madurantikam earlier. People actually argued during the time of independence. He was very, very good in the logic. He was a very great Tarkika. He simply said, I have no ill will with anyone who is wanting to find fault with Vedas or Gita, etc. There were a lot of this Nastikavada. Actually, the Ramaswamy Nayakar was the person who organized something. This person went as the representative of the Vedika. But very, very nice talk, about 15 pages of a Tarkika argument, just saying what is Himsa. He just tried to define Himsa. Vedas talk about ahimsa, if you see, or if the people say, okay, Buddhists talk about ahimsa, the Vedikas learned later, this is not true. So he actually brought it out from the Himsa Vada, 15 pages of a Tarkika, very terse Tarkika text. He brought out 10, 20, up to 70, 80 different angles. Those people actually left the place saying, we never even thought of all this. The whole issue is to pursue, to argue, to just tell people, place you where you are. You assume 100 things, Baba, they are not true. Your assumptions have not been borne out. Why have an assumption and then based on that build a castle? It is in the air. This is what they tried to show. But this is only done with the Shruti-Vakya. So the whole point is Agni Shomiya Himsa Na Himsa. This is the statement in Mimamsa. We are killing animals in the yajnas. So how can you talk about it? This was the question asked to him. Agni Shomiya Himsa Na Himsa. This is the heading of the article that he wrote. And Vedas have tried to give justification to killing of animals in the yajnas at the same time when they say Pahimsa Sarva Bhutani. Then how do you reconcile? This was the challenge posed to him. And he tried to give the how to look at the whole issue. So then these two issues are brought in, Apti and Hitakamatva. Okay? So yeah, it is maybe an eternal debate. I am not saying that this is ending at any given time, but we can be rest assured that yes, our ancestors never wanted us to go to doom. This is definitely not the sort. Hiteshitva, if it is there. And why does the person, Yeshaha Mam Asmin Niyamte, if you feel, then it should be leading to something good. Aptasya Hitakamasya Niyogam Kechi Duchire Bhashyakaro Bhagavan Etadeva Abhyamanyata. This is the sloka in Sloka Vartika we have. Bhashyakara finally concurred with this set of people who said, there are a number of ways it said, okay, idam kuru, idam ma kuru, you do this, you will achieve this, you do that. Yesha Bantha, Vidarbhana, Yesha Gachati Kausalar. It is something like a lamp post or let us say a direction post somewhere. You want to go to Vidarbha Desha, go this way. You want to go to Kausal Desha, go this way. It's not just a set of do's and don'ts. It also has this Apti and Hiteshitva in the Veda. So because of that, it becomes worthy of pursuing learning. Okay. Yeah, free will, of course, I think different people look at it differently. Why can't I dress like it? Why can't I move like it? That's not the actual issue of free will at all. Because they don't even know what are the consequences, what is good, bad kind of thing. It's difficult to define things there. It's not at this level that we are talking about. It is basically at the level of the potential of a living being and realizing that, like I mentioned earlier, the gap between the reality and the potential or the actuality. Okay, so how to actually bridge and come up with that.
Okay. Yeah. I think out of time. So we can take the. If you have any further questions, you can ask Maurya over email or something.
Sure, you are free to contact you anytime, any more, no problems. Telephone is fine. This Sandeep
we can start the next question.
So that kind of things are always okay for me, no issue.
Yeah. Next session will be started with questions otherwise. That's also okay.
Yeah, absolutely, no problem. Okay, so slowly we need to evolve this and then see the participation, the kind of feeling, yes, we are there and we get what we are, maybe we assumed or we wanted to kind of, let's slowly make it. See, this is an experiment. I honestly look up this as still an experiment. It is just evolving and we really do not know. Good enough. It is near and at least there is a forum, there is a place where we are able to start it up. That's what I mean.
We are happy to be a part of this experiment, sir.
Yeah, it's useful. See, I'm saying, no, today the time is right for people to at least spend time on thinking. Spend time on thinking, so what they are thinking about. Not about, so many mundane things. So, at least ask the right questions. If you don't have answers, there is nothing left. At least, have the right questions, right way of trying to pursue them, wherever it takes us. See, the Dharma is something that is not caught up with any time. We never catch up with it. But Margastone avasirati, that is what the Maharshis have said. Anugantum satam vartma klipsnam yadi nashakyate. It is not possible to fully follow what the Sajjanas did. But Margastone avasirati, Tena gachan narishyati. This is what Manu said. Yenasya pitaro yataha, yena yataha pitamahaha. Tenaiva margena gantavyam, tena gachan narishyati. This is what he finally assured. You will not be lost if you follow the path your ancestors followed. Though you don't catch up. This is what Manu said. So, that is what we are also trying to follow. See, a Vaidika wants to just live the way, an ideal being their own ancestors. Like I said, we need to please our fathers. It is important. A person who may be critical in our own interest, that is the real help that somebody can ever get. It is not that, you are praised and then you are, put on a pedestal. It doesn't help. Okay. Fine. Anyway, thank you. Good. Questions are nice, so let us see. And it's not that I feel I can always answer, but fine. At least I can put in my perspective and let us see how things help. And yeah, one plus point is because most of the Vedic text is one way of fully, so we will at least see that can be of use. There's no doubt about it. That part can easily be done. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, good.